Lost skills and new realities. We have traced a quiet arc through our industry. First, two developers at one keyboard building trust line by line, then velocity charts, individual metrics, distributed teams. Now a new presence in the room, an AI assistant, fluent, tireless, always available. But beneath productivity graphs and benchmark reports, something deeper is at stake, something harder to quantify. Pair programming never just produced code, it produced communicators. When two people sit together and solve a problem, something subtle happens. You do not just type, you narrate your thinking, you explain why you are choosing this abstraction, you defend a trade-off, you concede a point. You slow down when your partner is confused, you speed up when they catch on. Over time, that rhythm becomes a training ground for empathy. Research in collaborative learning has long shown that articulation strengthens cognition. When you explain a solution out loud, you refine your own understanding. Educational psychologists describe this as the self-explanation effect. In programming, pairing forced that effect daily. Every design choice became a conversation. Every bug became a shared puzzle. The result was not only better tested code, as early XP studies suggested, it was stronger developers. Developers who could debate without ego, developers who could listen, developers who could teach. Those are soft skills, but they are not soft outcomes. They are the glue of resilient teams. When we gradually replaced daily pairing with solo tickets and asynchronous chat, we did not just change workflow, we changed apprenticeship. New hires no longer had a constant guide at their shoulder. Instead of absorbing tacit knowledge through shared struggle, they received pull request comments hours later. Instead of overhearing architectural debates, they read summarized decisions in documentation. And documentation, no matter how thorough, cannot replace the micro-adjustments of real-time collaboration. Senior developers felt the shift too. Without pairing, knowledge transfer became more formal, more scheduled, more transactional. Mentorship required deliberate effort rather than emerging organically from shared work. Over time, something curious can happen to a team operating this way. Work fragments into tickets, conversations shrink into status updates, stand-ups become recitations rather than exchanges. Code reviews become checklists, naming conventions, test coverage, formatting. The dialogue narrows, and here lies the irony. For years, we worried that robots would replace developers, that automation would eliminate human creativity. Yet in subtle ways, we have adapted ourselves to fit the logic of automation. We optimize for measurable output, story points closed, tasks completed, lines merged. The language of performance becomes mechanical. Individuals are rated, velocity is tracked, collaboration is assumed rather than cultivated. We start to resemble the systems we build, efficient, modular, loosely coupled. There is a cost to that transformation. Sociological research on distributed work shows that informal communication is a key predictor of innovation and trust. When spontaneous interaction decreases, shared understanding declines. Teams may still deliver features, but their cohesion weakens. They become collections of competent individuals rather than a cohesive unit. Enter AI. On the surface, AI coding assistants feel like a restoration of companionship. The blank screen is no longer lonely. You type a comment and suggestions bloom beneath your cursor. An engineering leader once described the experience as editing an essay instead of staring at a blank page. It feels smoother. Less friction, less uncertainty, but smoothness can be deceptive. The AI answers the immediate question. It proposes a function. It suggests a refactor. It even writes tests. What it does not do is notice whether you are stretching your understanding or merely accepting plausible output. It does not detect when you avoid difficult concepts. It does not sense hesitation in your voice. It does not say, "Explain that to me again." The apprenticeship loop changes shape. Instead of peer-to-peer friction, we get human-to-machine refinement. Instead of negotiating ideas, we curate suggestions. Instead of building shared mental models across a team, we build personalized workflows with our tools. The world rewards this autonomy. Modern development culture celebrates the independent contributor empowered by powerful tooling. Efficiency becomes the North Star. The sprint becomes a throughput engine. But what happens to collective intelligence? Psychologist Lev Vygotsky described learning as fundamentally social. We grow within what he called the zone of proximal development when supported by more capable peers. Pair programming operationalized that principle inside software teams. Two average developers could tackle more complex tasks together than either alone. Now, the more capable peer is often an AI. But unlike a human mentor, the AI does not model professional judgment in context. It does not display doubt. It does not reveal reasoning in a way that mirrors lived experience. It provides output without biography, and that difference matters. Teams built on shared struggle accumulate stories. Remember when that deployment failed. Remember why we chose that pattern. These narratives form cultural memory. They build trust and collective intuition. A machine cannot participate in that memory. It generates solutions without ownership. The risk is not that AI writes all the code. The risk is that we forget how to learn from each other, that we lose the habit of thinking aloud, that we stop challenging assumptions because the suggestion looks syntactically correct. We may become highly efficient operators of increasingly powerful systems. But efficiency is not the same as growth, so we find ourselves in a new reality. We have tools that can accelerate us. We have distributed teams that can span continents. We have metrics that can quantify output to the decimal. And yet we must ask whether our daily practice still trains the human capacities that make engineering teams extraordinary: empathy, articulation, patience, trust. Are we deliberately cultivating those skills, or assuming they will somehow persist without structured collaboration? Are we designing workflows that preserve shared understanding, or defaulting to whatever maximizes individual throughput? When an AI helps you solve a problem instantly, does it also help you become the kind of engineer who can teach that solution to someone else? And in a world where the machines assist us brilliantly, what will distinguish the teams that thrive from the ones that simply ship? Perhaps the question is not whether robots are replacing us. Perhaps the deeper question is whether, in chasing productivity, we have begun replacing the most human parts of development ourselves. If pairing once made us better together, what practices must we invent now to ensure we do not forget how to be a team in the age of intelligent tools?